You hear about the rumors going around in TNA about this ECW I Dare angle or something like that?
Hey, I'm looking forward to seeing that. It'll only be the sixth or seventh time that somebody's done that over the past 3 or 4 years. Didn't they just finish resurrecting and putting the boots to the corpse of ECW up in the WWE? Hasn't Vince Russo, the mark that he is, tried to put together ECW factions? Even Heyman don't want to do an ECW. I guarantee you, if Paul Heyman was to tell the truth, which, of course, if a frog had wings, he wouldn't bump his ass on the ground, but if Paul Heyman was to tell the truth, even he would say, I don't want to do an ECW faction because everybody else is doing 1997 wrestling, and I don't want to be seen as one of these fucking morons that can't get their heads out of their ass and move into the 21st century. So I bet you even Heyman don't want to do it. Well, Heyman ain't showed up to do it yet. Maybe he needs the money like Batista. That's the only reason I could think that he would fucking show up and do something like that, because Heyman was all about creating new styles of wrestling and finding new stars, and ECW was something new at the time. It wasn't necessarily the greatest thing for the business, but it was new at the time. So why would Paul Heyman want to come in, do something that's already been done and done to death in both companies in one form or fashion or another, and rely on shit from 15 years ago to show everybody that he's just like Vince Russo and Vince McMahon? He doesn't have a fucking good idea, and he hadn't had one in 15 years. Explain that one to me, Ricky.
Hey, you got time for 1 or 2 questions on my end from some people that have been writing in?
Oh, I guess since we didn't give them anything last week, we ought to go above and beyond the Call of Duty today.
All right, cool. First question, someone wants to know if you could take one guy, anyone you want, out of the WWE and have them in Ring of Honor. It could be any guy, top guy, bottom guy, whatever you want. One guy from WWE that you'd like to see in Ring of Honor. If you could have him, who would you pick?
Oh, my God, that's a tough one. I got to start thinking of who's still there that I give a shit about. Once again, there's a lot of guys that are really good talents in WWE, obviously. Randy Orton is a tremendous talent. But I don't think Randy Orton would hang. I don't think he'd last in Ring of Honor. I don't think he could fucking do it. He's a great talent for the WWE style. But, a lot of people look at the big superstars and think, well, if they came to Ring of Honor, well, they wouldn't be able to fucking hang. You'd take a fish out of water. It's a different style. I'm sure there probably are some guys in WWE that would fit that fucking profile, but I don't want to call any one particular person's name because then I'd be slighting the other one. But
sure. Actually,
I'd love to see Triple H come on over to Ring of Honor, because I'd love to put Triple H in the ring with Davey Richards and watch him cry like a fucking bitch.
So that'd be the one guy you pick then?
I'll pick Triple H. I'll pick Triple H as long as he works with Davey Richards, as long as it has to go a half an hour, and as long as Richards is in a bad mood that day.
You know this is going to make the headlines of every wrestling website. Jim Cornette picks someone you will not believe to main event Ring of Honor.
There you go. Yes, as long I have no problem with anybody disseminating that information as long as they finish it up. I not only want Triple H, I want Triple H to work with Davey Richards. I want it to be a 45-minute Iron Man match with Richards in a bad mood.
Well, you just go 1 hour.
I don't want to kill the fucking guy. Wait a minute. Yeah, let's go an hour.
And another one of the listeners wants to know that they heard you talk a little bit in the past about John Cena, but they want your thoughts on how you perceive him as a performer and as the top star of the WWE and in wrestling in 2010.
Well, I can't say anything bad about John Cena, and I know that'll disappoint a lot of people, but John was a great guy here in OVW. He did everything that was asked of him. He was entertaining as shit. I loved the prototype. I can say something bad about what John has been forced to do. I hated the baggy pant wrapper thing that he first started out with, and I'm not real fond of, when I first saw John Cena as the prototype here in OVW, I saw a great promo. I saw a great-looking athlete. I saw a guy that was a pretty good worker then. And I know a lot of people blister him about his work. I haven't seen a lot of his matches in years because I don't watch the shit. But if he hasn't progressed as a worker, he's still on top. He's still drawing money. He's still selling tickets and merchandise. So, he's got to be better than, well, let's say, for example, Dusty was not exactly a high flyer, but he sold a lot of tickets. Abdullah the Butcher was not exactly the greatest classic worker of all time, but he was a big name in the business. But John, as the prototype, I saw him as a future superstar because his promos were tremendous. And that John can cut a promo. I hate that they write material for him, but when he does his own shit, he's fucking great. So I have no problem with John Cena. He's always been a stand-up guy. He remembers his friends. He doesn't knock people that have helped him. And I ain't going to say a bad word about John Cena. And I'll even forgive him the fact that he takes up for Vince McMahon because Vince McMahon pays him $5 or $10 million a year. So I guess for that I'd lie a little bit about the old prick.
Well, I guess I'll do it this week here on Cornette's commentary. And just remember, Jim Cornette has personally invited Triple H to attend a Ring of Honor event. Now, just
No. Now, don't misphrase. Don't misconstrue me here, Tommy. I didn't invite him to attend a Ring of Honor event. I invited him to come and get in the ring with Davey Richards for an hour in an Iron Man match. Because I would love to see, and we'll have an ambulance standing by, because, of course, all that human growth hormone and all them steroids he stuck up his ass all these years, I'm sure he'd have some kind of stroke or heart attack about halfway through with Davey, because only real athletes can hang with Davey Richards. That's why he and Tyler Black was such a great match. And Triple H will be sitting there in his luxurious limousine in his palace that his wife's money is bought for him, and his father-in-law has pushed him to the fucking moon, even though he's boring and fucking nobody gives a shit. He'll say, well, that's a bunch of indie wrestling, and I wouldn't lower myself. Well, here's the problem. The problem is, Triple H, you're the guy that worked with the guy that drew the money. That's all you've ever been, and that's all you ever will be, and you married into the family, and I can't figure out how you did it. Just like Russo. I can't figure out how he did it, but he did it. But you'll never be as good a wrestler, as good a professional wrestler as either Tyler Black or Davey Richards, and Ring of Honor's got that going for him.
I'll tell you what, Jimmy Cornette definitely returned with a rant this week. And, JC, as always, thank you very much, and I'm sure everyone will definitely enjoy tonight's episode of Cornette's commentary here on Who's Someone Who. As always, people head over to JimCornette.com for all the latest info. And hey,
don't forget the debut of Ring of Honor in Louisville, Kentucky, the Bluegrass Brawl, Thursday night, July 22nd, at the Davis Arena, home of OVW. Once again, tickets are on sale at ROHWrestling.com, or you can get them at the door the night of the event, maybe because the Davis Arena, 400-seat capacity. Don't be left out. Get your tickets in advance. Make a reservation. Do something. We'll figure it out.
All right, and JC, we'll talk to you next week here on Who's Slamming Who.
Well, that's provided that Bolin doesn't run long and stock up your system again with too much commentary.
All right, JC, we'll talk to you next week, man. Thanks again.
Thank you, Tommy.
Bye-bye.